In this lesson, we'll talk about Realflow's scene tree and how it can be used to make daemons affect multiple particle systems, as well as making different particles interact with each other. So let's take a look at just an empty scene, and I'm going to go ahead and just start off with a circle emitter. Okay, I'll go ahead and rotate this up, and whenever you only have one emitter in your scene, whenever you add a daemon, it will automatically affect that one emitter. So by just adding a gravity, it will go ahead and affect just this one emitter. But what if I actually have several emitters in my scene? So let me go ahead and add a square emitter. Go ahead and select this, and I'll move this over. Okay, and maybe rotate this. And also, let me go ahead and add another emitter, and just for a little bit of a change, I'll go ahead and make a triangle emitter. So I'm going to go ahead and rotate this up just a little bit differently, and then move this into place. Okay, pull this down. Now, if I were to go ahead and simulate this, you can see that my gravity is only affecting this one circle emitter. It's not affecting these other two emitters at all. Okay, so how can I actually do this? Well, one method would be to just go ahead and add more gravity daemons, which probably is actually going to slow down your scene a little bit more, so I probably wouldn't recommend doing that. The most efficient way comes from using the scene tree. Okay, and the scene tree can be accessed by going to Tools, and then you can find a scene tree. If you want to use the shortcut for this is F11. Okay, so you open up the scene tree, and looking at this, it really doesn't look like you have anything special here. Okay, so how does this scene tree work? What you have is, on this side, you have your objects, and then you can see what relation these objects have to each other. You can see right now, really the only relation you have is this gravity daemon to your circle emitter. Okay, on this other side, the right-hand side, you have all the objects in your scene. So let's say, for example, that I want my gravity to affect this square emitter. Okay, this is actually really simple to do. Just take your gravity daemon from your right-hand side and just simply drag it over to square 1. And now you can see that this gravity has a relationship to square 1. Okay, so now, if I hit A to play this, now you can see how the gravity is affecting this square emitter, but it's not affecting this triangle emitter because we haven't set it to. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this. I want to show you just one other quick little thing that we can do with the scene tree before we finish up this lesson, and that is, if I go ahead and play through this, you can see that for the triangle and this square, these particles are just passing right through each other. They're not interacting with each other at all, which really isn't natural. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this, and I'll go ahead and just remove this circle emitter from our scene. Okay, so we play this through, and they just pass right through each other. No interaction whatsoever. Again, we can use this scene tree to actually generate a relation between these two particle systems. So let's go ahead and open up the scene tree, and just like we were able to take the gravity from this side and connect it to the square, we could also take the square from this side, and let's actually connect this to the triangle. So now you can see there is a relation between these two. So now the particles from this triangle should be affected by this square. So now when these two collide, now you can see how these are actually affecting each other. So the square emitter is now disrupting the particles from this triangle, but because we never set it up in the relation tree or in the scene tree, the particles from this square are not necessarily being affected by this triangle. So you can see these particles from the square really just passing right through. So let me go ahead and set this up real quick. Let's go ahead and take this triangle, and let's also connect it to the square. So that way these two basically are now interacting with each other. And let's take a look at the difference. So if I play this through, now these really crash together in a realistic way. So this is how we can use the scene tree to really start to add interactivity to our different particle systems, to our different daemons, and also to different actual pieces of geometry that you'll have within your scene. And this is another area where some of these different particle attributes can really come in handy. So for something like this square emitter, if we were to take the density of this particle down quite a ways, and let's take this triangle, I'll go ahead and leave the density at 1,000, and I'll go ahead and increase this speed by quite a bit. Maybe not that much, maybe 6. So that way the speed that these particles are moving should actually disrupt these particles quite a bit more. So you've got this steady stream of particles, and you can see now how these are affecting each other. So I'll go ahead and simulate this through for just a second. And you can see because of the heavy speed and the heavier weight of these triangle particles, they're pretty much just blowing right through these lighter, slower moving particles. So again, this is how you can start to use some of these different particle attributes to get completely different interactions between your multiple particle systems. So in the next lesson, we'll start looking at some more advanced applications for some of these multiple tools that you have within Realflow.